Joining me now is Kristen Welker from NBC's Meet the Press. Kristen, good morning.
Hi, Christy. Good to be with you. Good morning to you.
Kristen, we have watched another week of protests on college campuses across the country in response to the ongoing war on Gaza. And on Thursday, President Joe Biden finally addressed the protests directly, condemning the violence while preserving the right to peacefully protest. How do you think his comments have been received since these protests have become a political liability for him in an election year?
Well, I think the Democrats are breathing a sigh of relief, Christy, that he has now gotten out and made these comments about the protests. He's also going to be delivering a speech on anti-Semitism in this coming week. But look, there's no doubt this has become a political flashpoint, these protests that are unfolding on universities all across the country. And it really speaks to the fact that the war in Gaza has become a political flashpoint. There's growing pressure for the administration to try to secure a ceasefire deal. We know that Secretary of State Antony Blinken was in the region this past week trying to do exactly that. Seems like talks are moving in the right direction, but no deal yet. And look, I think these protests, this unrest all across the country is not going to die down until there is a ceasefire, until something really changes in the Middle East, Christy.
And on the show this morning, we'll see your sit down with Cindy McCain, the executive director of the World Food Program, who also desperately wants a ceasefire. You talked to her about the humanitarian crisis in Gaza. How dire is it for the people there right now?
Well, Christy, it's fascinating. I asked her that very question, and she said it is her assessment that the situation in the north of Gaza has now become a full-blown famine. That's significant. It's the first time that she has said that. She's now the second U.S. official to make that declaration. Samantha Power, the head of USAID, also said that the conditions on the ground in Gaza constitute a famine. But look, there hasn't been an official declaration made by the UN, but it does add urgency, pressure to Israel to help get aid into Gaza, pressure on the United States and the international community to get aid into those who are suffering in Gaza. And Christy, it's just heartbreaking. Executive Director McCain talks about the fact that the children are impacted the most when you have a growing crisis like this. So she is really trying to apply pressure to all sides to address this growing crisis.
It is so hard to watch. Pivoting to the U.S. Capitol this week, Georgia Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene says she will force a vote to try and oust House Speaker Mike Johnson. How likely do you think this is to succeed?
Well, look, it doesn't seem like it has a whole lot of momentum, actually, Christy. You have a lot of Republicans who are expressing concern, both privately and publicly, quite frankly, that this will take a political toll on the Republican Party, on Republican candidates, particularly after they ousted former House Speaker Kevin McCarthy and lost weeks of getting legislation passed. You also, adding to that dynamic, have Democrats saying they would consider jumping in to save the Speaker's job. And oh, by the way, former President Donald Trump effectively saying, knock it off, leave Speaker Johnson alone. He's doing a good job. Johnson was at Mar-a-Lago this weekend. So really underscoring the support he has, Christy.
It's fascinating. Kristen, thank you so much. Meet the Press airs at 10 right after 11 Alive Weekend Morning News.